I prefer a more direct approach. Let's see just how good their security is. Aw, you guys forgot the latest kernel patch.
Hiding so cowardly, even for you.
Says the guy frantically erasing his search history.
After all these years, you're still just an ignorant child.
True, but that's part of my charm, isn't it?
Damn you. Get that door down now!
It's clear. Move up!
Hey guys, I guess bombs are part of Willie's getaway plan? Sounds like they're trapped.
You go after them. We'll look for the bombs.
I'll lift it. When you're free, get out fast. If you can walk, help the injured. Got it? Go, go, go!
Thank you.
Uh-oh. You guys all right?
We were just about to call for backup.
I think I'm it.
Lead the way. We'll be right behind you. Heads up, boss.
Writing your memoirs? Don't forget the hyphen between spider and man.
Get the chopper ready. I won't be long. I'm surprised you made it this far. But your foolishness ends now.
You do know I can still see you, right?
80 years of this insolence.
Oh, for me? You shouldn't have. Gotta wait for an opening.
How is this happening?
What's wrong, Willie? You seem angry.
I will destroy you!
Take your best shot.
You are everything that's wrong with this city!
Huh. I was gonna say the same to you.
You know what to do, men!
Surrounded!
So, should we kiss now? Yeah, maybe later.
Welcome to the after party. Welcome to the after party. Did you bring some snacks and treats?
Yes, it did.
I hope you got me something to eat.
Maybe.
Welcome to the after party. Coming to the after party. to the after party. Join us in the after party. Oh, chocolate and gabbing, maybe some microphone gabbing at the after party.
With DJ Eric Page.
Not Pagey. No Pagey. No
Well,
Pagey.
I can't fake it. I can fake an Australian accent if you want.
Yeah. Yeah. So everybody was asking for that intro, so I thought I'd play it one more time. With the Pagey parts included. Because everybody was asking about it. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. I turn this light on. My camera's acting. I don't know what has been going on with my computer. It is acting weird. The only thing that I did was I added a second camera that I was going to be using. And that sent the whole computer into a tailspin. Now it's like everything's acting up. This camera's acting up. My main Elgato camera's acting up. I don't know what's happening. Anyway. But yes, welcome to the stream. We're calling it the after party because it is in a transition period. The after party will continue to be on Saturdays. I'll continue to have special guests. Now that we know Pagey is going to be absent for a while, we'll be rotating people in and out. But right now we have Omega in the building. Good to have him here. We'll be talking about a more variety of stuff on Saturdays. And so anybody that I have on as a guest, the requirement is to at least know about the stuff we're going to be talking about. So whenever I invite somebody, that will be a priority moving forward to make sure that they can interact, because otherwise what's the point? What's the point?
Well, I don't know what y'all talking about. So I'm out here. See ya.
South Texas Shark is a Team Airrick member. Goes, Pagey's gone. Who's going to make fun of Ben now? Well, I can do it. Candid Rafts could do it. Anybody could do it because Ben's going to be a guest at some point.
Yeah,
So
I don't know dude like that. So no, I ain't doing it.
But thank you so much. We have a few things to talk about today. Obviously, we're going to be talking about Ahsoka. We're almost at the end of the season. Do you think we're going to get a good wrap up on Ahsoka? Do you think it's going to be a good finale?
I don't know. I hope so, because they better. That's all I'll say is they better.
Or else you're going to be really mad about it.
Type a bunch of nasty stuff on Twitter that no one's going to see.
Yeah. So we have that coming up. We also have Loki premiering next week, so that's kind of exciting.
I forgot about that.
And I'm going to give some trigger warnings because we're going to be talking about Gen V today at the end of this stream, well, the second half of the stream. And if you haven't seen it, I'm just going to warn you because I'm going to tell you right now, there is some stuff that happens in these first 3 episodes that might catch you by surprise if you didn't watch
this type of humor is right up my alley, so I'm all for it. But
I know
it's not for some people.
Look, I am breaking my normal code here with YouTube. Normally, I try to avoid issues and stuff, but with these episodes, it's really hard to discuss what's going on in them without explicitly.
I want to put it to the later part, so So we're
gonna save it for later because when YouTube trolls videos, for looking for stuff, it's usually within the first 15, 20 minutes of the video. So we'll see. Anyway, it's the boys' universe. You're gonna get what you're gonna get. So we're also gonna talk here in just a second. I had a bunch of stuff ready to come up on screen before I had to restart. Now it's all gone. So this is what you're going to get. You're going to get me and Omega sitting on screen because I don't have anything ready to go. But I do want to talk about this news. Now, with the writer's strike being over, a lot of stuff is starting to roll again. We're seeing talk shows come back. A lot of the late night talk shows are coming back. Whether you love them or hate them, they're returning. The morning talk shows are coming back. So those things are going to pick back up again. And it was a historic victory. I don't know if you saw what the writers are getting, but it is.
No, I really haven't been keeping up with that much.
They pretty much got everything they asked for.
Oh, nice. Good.
So they're getting writers' rooms with a set amount of writers for a set amount of time. Residuals are getting paid out with bonuses on viewership for TV shows and movies, which, by the way, on streaming services, you didn't normally see those. Those numbers weren't available, but now they're making them available. So everybody will know what all those numbers are. There's a lot of things that are positive from the strike that came out for the writers. So I'm happy for them. And the actors strike is happening, or the meeting for the actor strike is happening next week. And I suspect because of everything they caved in with the writers, the actors will also see like a boost in their numbers as well. So I think that's really good. So really looking forward to seeing, how that's going to play out. I do believe by the end of October, we will have things back in production, or at least in pre-production. And so that's really exciting. One of the big things I've seen is like, there's so much clickbait right now when it comes to this. Much clickbait. So the X-Men casting thing, I looked it up because a lot of people said I should talk about it because a lot of articles were running with the X-Men casting stuff. And I went and looked, and it looks as if a lot of these casting rumors are just that. They're rumors. Like for Fantastic Four, for X-Men.
Yeah. Because I remember I was just trolling through Twitter, and somebody was saying like they were just talking just in general, but it was saying that like one person who should be Storm, and they named like this one WNBA basketball player. No, she's fine. She's fine as hell. I was like, because somebody was even saying, like, I don't even care. She only got to talk to just stand there. I forgot the person's name. I got to look it up again. But
so, Canadagraphs, you don't think that movies that have been pausing will resume in October? You don't think that'll happen? You don't think, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of shows just pause. They'll just pick back up where they paused in movies. Right? Or, I mean, I can't imagine the studios are like, no, we're not going to try and squeeze in some stuff, especially stuff like Deadpool, which I think was just days away from finishing. So
I have no idea.
Interesting. I'm going to hold you on this, Canadagraph. So if we see that production has resumed on something before the end of October, you owe me some poutine or whatever that stuff is in Canada with fries and fries.
Poutine.
Is it poutine?
Poutang? Oh, that's something.
Pootie Tang. That was a good movie, by the way.
I'm talking about Poontang.
Wait. No, I didn't say that.
That's something completely different.
You said that. I didn't say that. Maybe I pronounced it wrong. Maybe, but have you ever seen Pootie Tang, the movie Pootie Tang?
Did bits and pieces. I never saw the whole thing.
Oh my gosh, it's hilarious. It is such a funny movie. I almost feel like it's one of those things that people forgot existed. Like it's
the little bits I saw were funny. That was about it, really.
Oh gosh, I love comedies that are absurd like that one. But it'll be interesting. All right, so yes, so here's another thing: is James Gunn confirmed some people coming back. I'm getting really annoyed by this whole James Gunn thing, though. Honestly, let me tell you why. I was totally on board with them doing a soft reboot where they were just going to kind of hold on to stuff and sort of make it seem seamless moving into the new era. But my issue is now, I think with all of the negativity surrounding some of these movies, like with The Flash and Blue Beetle and stuff, it makes me wonder if this is going to hurt them moving forward as a brand.
To me, the brand is already damaged just from what they did previously, and then just their complete wiping of everything. So, to me, it's already damaged.
I'm just so confused. I mean, I guess, but I'm so confused because I'm thinking like, what? I don't know. What are they going to do to fix this? I feel like there's no. I hope that Superman is really good. We don't get that Superman movie until 2025, and I hope that Superman movie is good because that's the only way I see them digging themselves out of this hole is if they nail a Superman movie. Otherwise, none of this other stuff matters. None of it matters. Who they're keeping, who's leaving. None of that matters if they can't dig themselves out of a hole with the Superman movie.
I partially agree with that. I mean, even if they don't make Superman that good, as long as Batman is good, because that's the more. I'm a Superman fan, but I know a lot of people love Batman for what's the word I'm looking for? Somebody on TikTok I follow, they call them Batsexuals.
Oh, really?
No, because it's like Batman could do no wrong. Batman's the goat.
Oh,
prep time and all
gotcha.
that stuff. I was like,
yeah.
Anyway, so it's like, as long as they have a good Batman movie, I think they'll be fine.
Well, the Batman Brave and the Bold is going to not be necessarily a normal Batman movie, so it'll be interesting to see like how that works out for them, in the long run. Because I do believe that one's going to be it's going to be something a bit more akin to like a team up movie, but we'll see where they go with that.
I'm definitely curious to see what they have. So who knows?
So wait, who's your favorite DC character? It wouldn't be Batman, would it?
No, my favorite DC character.
Yeah.
Darkseid.
Really?
Yeah.
I just
love just the cold. I just love just like the cold-blooded, no nonsense. Just I'm here to conquer and chew bubblegum, and I'm all out of bubblegum. Just that ruthless villain. I just love that.
That's interesting. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say Darkseid is their favorite, so that's pretty cool. Like, who do you think would win between Darkseid and Thanos?
Darkseid would destroy Thanos. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Thanos. There was even a crossover comic where Thanos and Darkseid, they meet up, and Darkseid is basically says, "You're a pale imitation of me. Get out of my face." Not like that, but he's basically like, "Yeah, you're a pale imitation of me."
Bat Simps. Is that what somebody said in the chat? So.
With prep time, Batman can do anything. Don't get me wrong. I like Batman, but he is just a regular, highly skilled human. Come on. If Superman really wanted to, he could just.
I've talked about this before. I actually made a video years ago. I don't even think it's still up on my channel. Arguing whether or not Batman is a superhero because of certain elements that he has.
Mm-hmm.
And I determined now in 2023, I've thought about this quite a lot over the years, that prep time is not a superpower because any superhero can have prep time.
Any superhero, anyone with prep time can, and enough resources can.
He's just an OCD superhero. That's the only thing is he's always prepped, but that doesn't mean that other characters can't be. So like, what if Batman preps for Superman, but Superman is prepped for Batman? Then Superman wins, right? I mean, that's really the way it goes. Because of course, being the world's greatest detective doesn't help you with stuff like that.
Or honestly. It goes to the writer.
You think so?
But it all boils down to the writer.
I've said that before too. Yeah, I think the writer plays a big part in it. You can't. It's like when people ask about whether or not X superhero can beat X superhero. It's always comes down to whoever.
The writer.
Because if you have a person that loves the Hulk writing Hulk versus Superman, guess what? Hulk is going to win. Yeah, they'll find out a way to do it. So that's why I feel like a lot of writers are writing Batman fanfic sometimes is because they want Batman to win. So they come up with a way. A good example of Batman at his best in terms of like outside of the pages of comic books is in the animated stuff, because then you can make him do things that make sense, even if it wouldn't make sense in a real setting. But if you watch BVS and you see the battle they have in that movie with Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, you'll see that Batman doesn't contribute that much to the to combat. Once his prep time is over,
he can do all the planning all he wants, but it's like, okay, Superman, you got in space and grabbed the meteor, and Wonder Woman, you help him, and the Flash, once the meteor comes down, you catch it and kick it over the edge. And what are you gonna do, Batman? What the fuck you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna sit here and watch y'all.
Right. Sit. That's I've always said that the one thing that, because people always compare Tony Stark and Batman, two very different characters, by the way.
I mean, I can see the comparison. Yeah, I can understand the comparison, but they are very different.
But the difference is that Tony Stark actually has technology that he uses that puts him at the level of a superhero. The Iron Man armor is essentially the same as Captain America's strength and agility.
Batman does have stuff like that, but it ends up getting destroyed or damaged or something like that halfway through, and he has to sit it out.
Yeah, Batman is very street level. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, which is fine. Which is
they always want to include him in stuff that feels weird, But yeah, I don't know. All right, so we're gonna move into the Ahsoka stuff here, and let's switch the wallpaper for everybody paying attention. And this is going to be our section where we're talking about Ahsoka episode 8. I believe is the title.
We got 2 episodes left.
I don't know. Cody, help us out. I always forget, how many episodes do we have left of Ahsoka? I think we have. Is it 1? I think it might be 1.
It's only 9 episodes. Okay,
I think it might be
8 or
1. No,
9?
maybe. Is it 7, 8? I can't remember. I lose track now.
1 left. Okay.
So 1 left. All right. Thanks, Fetman. I appreciate it, everybody. Everybody keeping me on task here. We do have a super chat related to Gen V, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
V. Yeah, I want to save that. Okay. So this episode was sort of a mixed bag for me. This is the first one where I felt like it was a few stumbles in the episode.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? What are you feeling in terms of this?
This better be the setup to something better. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like this episode. I like the cameos and everything. It's just, it does have a few stumbles and just leaves things just kind of there. It's just meh.
Yeah. Anything in particular standing out for you is not being like, I'll tell you right now, the one thing that kind of annoyed me was that corralling of the herd. That was really not great.
Yeah, that and just Sabine, it's just a problem in anime and a lot of manga too. Just use your words, talk. And it's just the part where just Sabine is just not being
the stuff with Ezra.
Yeah,
the stuff with Ezra. Yeah,
Ezra. It's like you haven't seen this dude for almost 10 years. It's like she's doing the same crap she's doing in Rebels.
So this feels more like a return or like sort of reductive for her character to go back to what she was doing before.
Yeah.
I will say this: I like Peridia or Peridia. I can't remember which way they pronounce it. Peridia. I think it's an interesting world, but we haven't really done much with it because I mean we're getting ready to be done with it. I think this might be the last big moment on that planet that we're dealing with was in this episode. The alien species there are really interesting. I don't have an issue with that. I think the whole like sort of traveling creatures, turtles, snail people is pretty cool. Yeah, but we don't really know much about the scavengers or the people that
they're kind of just there to be cannon fodder.
Yeah, they feel like stormtroopers to me. Actually, even less than stormtroopers, because at least with stormtroopers, we have some backstory or lore to the stormtroopers.
Yeah, we have nothing on these guys. They're just random scavengers.
You know what else kind of annoys me is we're almost at the end of the series, and we don't know anything about like Balin and Shin's relationship prior to the series.
Yeah, it's like these episodes aren't long enough because it's just only 30 minutes, and they could have squeezed in some more lore, especially when it comes to Skull and Hati, and especially what was going on with Ezra while he was there. He could have told that during that whole time when they were migrating, and that could have been more exposition of Phil. What were you doing here this whole time?
Why did Thrawn and his team have trouble finding Ezra on that planet for 10 years? Why? What was preventing them from finding? Because at first, when those aliens were like laying face down and they looked like rocks, that made sense because they can basically hide. But when we found out they live in like these huts, traveling huts,
these mass migration that they do, they're nomadic, and so like you couldn't see these people, and then because Thrawn's smarter than that. If he's seeing like these nomadic hermit crab people going across, he can, especially why he has those night sisters there, and they can't sense him or anything. He's probably hiding himself in the forest or whatever, but still.
As we're getting to the end, I'm starting to get a bit more nitpicky, and I want people to understand that as the season goes on, you start out like being a little more open for things to not be answered. But when you get close to the end of a season,
you got to start answering some questions now.
I don't think we've answered enough going into the finale, and I really hope the finale pays off on some of these things.
That's why I'm rating this one kind of low, and I'm kind of have a cautious optimism to the last episode. This one better be almost 2 hours long.
Right. Let's talk about, before we jump more into that, let's talk about the beginning with Hera and everything that was happening with the New Republic.
The stupid senator who's a total idiot. He better be an Imperial plant, because if not,
that's what I was thinking. Like, why is he acting like this?
It's so obvious. He's either an Imperial plant or he's just incompetent.
Yes. That's my exact thoughts. I was like, why is this guy acting like this? Why is he yelling and screaming and getting so belligerent? Which, by the way, also the fact that Leia lied doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Leia does. Yes, she's going to cover for Hera. Not Hera. Leia knows what's up.
Were you taking the nostalgia bait with C-3PO?
Yes, I was. Absolutely. I love C-3PO.
When I saw him come out, I was like, oh my gosh. I actually I'll admit this, I got a little bit emotional seeing it. I was like, oh my God.
And it's the same actor from the original trilogy. He's really? He's still around. Okay. He's still around and still acting. So go ahead. So
I thought that was really good. I do feel like we kind of lost a little bit of that storyline. Like the stuff with Hera feels very, I don't know. It isn't directly connected to what's going on right now with Ahsoka, Sabine, and Ezra.
Yeah, not really, but it's tangential.
Again, it needs to pay off.
Yeah.
Really how I feel about this episode will change depending on what happens in the next episode. So that's where I'm at.
So for now, I'm kind of like I don't want to give my numerical rating as of yet, but it's much lower than the last one.
Now that I know it's the penultimate episode, it makes me a little bit more aware of questions that were not answered. So my rating for this is going to change now that I know this is the second to last episode. Crazy Cat Lady with the $5 super chat. Ahsoka keeps on making me cry when hugging Ezra. I wish fandom would be like this in animation, fans like us, sadly. Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a big Rebels fan. It's like finally we get to see our boy back again, and it's kind of like I wanted to see more in this episode. I was kind of hoping he was going to go into more of what he was doing here, but they didn't.
Because I think I didn't realize this, and let me explain why with the whole Ezra stuff. Obviously, I didn't watch all of the animated stuff, but everyone that I'm watching it now. I'm going back through it now, but there's no way I'm going to catch up with them.
Oh yeah, you're not.
But so many people told me that them finding Ezra, that this is something that the fans have wanted for a very, very, very long time. That this was something that people have been dreaming about, this moment of them coming back together and meeting again. Is that something that's real, or is that just something people are saying on the internet? Like the fact that finding Ezra and reconnecting with Sabine and stuff.
I'm sorry, repeat. I was reading chat.
People were saying this meant so much because fans have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Oh yeah. Because when did Rebels end? It was like I want to say 2015. I could be completely totally wrong with that because I didn't start watching Rebels until like 2020. But after it's so long, and then we finally see them reunited. So that was like a huge thing for the fans.
Thank you for the super chat there. March 2018. Okay.
2018. Okay. Yeah, that's a long time.
Naruto with a $5 super chat. Are the naughty the new Ewoks? At least Ewoks could fight. Well,
yeah. Well, here's the thing about the Ewoks. Everyone thinks they're like these cute little teddy bear people. Like they're cannibals. They're vicious cannibals.
They were trying to roast them.
They were trying to cook the Rebels crew. They are vicious animals. Not vicious animals. They are vicious, savage tribe, and they're cannibals.
Okay, so clear me out on this and let me know if I'm right. I've heard the Ewoks are loosely related to the Wookiees. Is that true? Okay.
They were originally supposed to be the Wookiees, but they didn't have enough in the budget for the full-size Wookiee costumes, so they just shortened it.
So that's how Ewoks became a thing.
Yeah, thus we have the Ewoks. Yep. That's when they had like a lot of I'm not sure what the proper term for them, dwarf people,
I think dwarves is the correct term, or actually little people also.
Little people, they had them and children playing those roles. So it's like for like one Wookiee costume was like 3 times the cost of a Ewok costume. So that's
right because the amount of fur that's on it. Yeah, but you know what the thing is? The thing is though, it made them like people love Ewoks.
Yeah, so people love the Ewoks.
Yeah, so it ended up working out for them. I know a lot of fans felt like the Ewoks was the jumping the shark moment for the original trilogy.
I get that. I totally understand. I slightly disagree because I still like I said, I love the Ewoks, but at the time, I get it. I totally get it.
I'm a basic bitch when it comes to the original trilogy. Empire Strikes Back is my favorite one, and I know that's pretty much everybody's favorite one. So I don't know. I know a lot of people say that's just the generic answer, but it's true. I mean,
Empire is a great movie.
But yeah, so I don't know. The naughty to me don't seem like Ewoks. They seem more like hobbits to me, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah, they even kind of dress like hobbits a little.
Yeah, so I don't know if we're ever going to see them again in a big way. At least, in terms
it'd be
of
cool, but
show. So, So anyway, we have all that happening. Let's talk a little bit about the stuff with Ahsoka and Baylan, because we do have a moment where they are fighting because Ahsoka's running away from the ships that tracked them in the bone graveyard using the magic of the Night Sisters. Which, by the way, how did you feel about that? Them being able to triangulate where Ahsoka was? Does that make
crazy sense for Night Sister magic BS. It's whatever you need. It does whatever you need it to do. So
okay,
I'm fine with it.
We'll take that. So she's running away from the ships because of that, and she ends up getting into a battle with Baylan, who has decided that Shin and him need to part ways, which was the thing that happened, which is why I'm so frustrated. We don't know a lot about their relationship.
Yeah, it's like, for what? Why are they parting ways? I'm like, I kind of get why, because she needs to go her own path. Kind of how like Jedi and Padawan, okay, you need to learn on your own. I taught you all I could. You need to apply what I taught you, that type of thing. But we don't know exactly what their whole situation is. So it's like we're just.
I was a little disappointed with the battle between Ahsoka and Baylan in this episode compared to what we got a couple episodes back.
Yeah.
Not to mention that it's very clear to me that Baylan is at a level that is much higher than Ahsoka when it comes to fighting. And
he's a 566, so he's legit.
So the fact that she's like, I don't have to beat you or whatever made sense to me, but you know, why she was saying it and why she came to that conclusion. But at the same time, it makes me sad because I don't know if they're planning on carrying the storyline outside of this, series, or if we'll get like an animated show that'll follow up on this, which by the way, I'd be okay with either. If they want to do an animated one or whatever.
Yeah. Some people, I was even seeing some people saying it's like, it's sad that, the actual actor, Ray Stevens died. But people are like, recast him. We love this character. We love the character he portrayed. I am fine with recasting him. It's the same with Chadwick Boseman with Black Panther. It's like even his family was fine with recasting him.
Well, I think that they could do that. I think that with this character, if you find the right actor, you could definitely do a recasting.
Yeah. Some people on Twitter already have made like very good. I can't remember the actor's name, but his face is in my mind at the moment.
Yeah.
But he was like, yeah, that guy would make a great
The thing is that we probably won't see another season of Ahsoka for another couple years, so they have time to sort of figure that out. But I was expecting more from that battle, and I was kind of disappointed in it.
It's more like she just kind of just bought time for people. That's about it, really.
Yeah. So then we had Shin's assault on the caravan where she's fighting against Sabine and Ezra is using force powers. Somebody was telling me it's a very big deal on how he was using the force. Can you explain why that is? Why? Because he wasn't using a lightsaber. He was just purely using the force.
Because I guess now correct me if I'm wrong on this one, Chad. Barely, I guess using the force really does kind of take a lot out of you. Like with Grogu, being that he was just a child, even though he's like 50-some years old, he was, and for his species, he's still just a child. And when he uses his force power, it just knocks him right out. And it constantly had that use of the force constantly, especially when because I'm gonna get to something later. I'm being I'm being OCD at the moment. But there was one point where even in Obi-Wan where Reva and Vader was fighting, he just blocks her lightsaber like it's nothing because it's freaking Darth Vader. Is like that's kind of like just a boss move where you could just block your lightsaber. I'm not even going to touch you. And then he just takes her saber, breaks it apart, and tosses at her. Here, you take that.
Right.
So it's kind of like I wouldn't say showing off, but it's more like your ability in the force is that strong that you don't even need a lightsaber anymore.
Well, do you think he'll ever go back to using a saber before the end of the season?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I kind of hope so. Because like I said before, I don't know if it was with you or I just said with the other people, Ezra's saber, his original lightsaber was one of the most practical lightsaber builds ever. Because especially if it's like a sci-fi setting, he could shoot like stun bolts at people. And whenever he needs to, he can retract and ignite the blade, whatever. And it had an actual cross guard on it, so it's like a very practical design.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds good.
Another thing I wanted to get to was Ahsoka did something to basically was kind of giving him like a little lesson. He built a new lightsaber and he just shows it to Ahsoka and she's like, "Oh yeah, nice saber." She just takes it out, takes his kyber crystal out, chucks it, and then starts attacking him. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Learn to fight without your lightsaber." I guess he took that lesson to heart.
Yeah, so Cam here says using the force is like using a muscle. It gets tired the more you use it, and stronger with some of the others. Yeah. And Robert says it was a badass strong moment for okay. Yeah. So there we go. But as they're fighting, a lot of people were upset that Sabine didn't really do much of the stuff that she was like. She's still very like, I guess, not totally attuned to the force, so she didn't use a lot of force powers, if any force powers. She's still relying on her Mando training. And does this surprise you at all, or no?
Honestly, I think she should concentrate more of her Mandalorian training, or mix the two, like with like not Jet Li. I'm about to call this man Jet Li. Bruce Lee says like take what's useful and discard what's not.
Right. That makes sense. So as they're fighting, though, we get this alert, I guess, from the ship that things are ready to go because Thrawn, who seemed so that was another thing is that they haven't done a really good job of telling people why Thrawn is such a big threat outside of fans of the animated stuff. So a lot of people were on the assumption that Thrawn had this personal issue with Ezra and Sabine. And the thing is, he was just basically like, oh, okay, we're almost unloading, so who cares? We're just going to leave them. So it felt like they weren't utilizing Thrawn in the best way in this episode because we're not totally like, again, this is where like not knowing anything about the series is a problem because we don't understand Thrawn's motivations.
It's like, well, why don't you use Thrawn? Was he supposed to be just powerful tactician? But if he's anything, he's practical. He's like, oh, this is stopping them. Like, okay, we're fighting them over here. We have a small group of stormtroopers here. We're just distracting them. They're leaving us alone so we can get this ship loaded and we can get the hell out of here.
Right.
He's like, if we win, great. If we lose, fine. Pull back.
So
we're done.
Basically, he just wanted to prevent any of them from interfering with their ship leaving.
He has a bigger plan. Oh, we lost this battle. We won the war. The ship's loaded. Get out.
Yeah, it just didn't make any sense from this until we got to that point. And I'm like, okay, now, because even as we were watching it, some of the people who weren't familiar with this character at all were like, was it personal? Why was he going after them if he's just going to leave them there on the planet? And I'm like, yeah, it's because they were just loading the ship and they didn't want,
it's like,
he didn't want them
keep them there. Yeah, we'll take them out over there. Keep loading the ship.
Which makes sense. I mean, that makes sense to me, but I don't think it was very well portrayed.
Even when when he saw that he was losing, he was like, "All right, get him out of there, pull him back." Instead of like with some other Moffs and other admirals would be like, "No, fight to the last man." It's like, no. Thrawn's like, "No, I ain't sacrificing more of our troops."
Yeah,
we did what we need to do. Get him out.
Yeah. So we get the alert or whatever that they're leaving, and pretty much all of the people that were there with Thrawn drop everything and leave. They're like, we're out of here. It doesn't matter who's left leaving behind or whatever, because they know that's it. Once that ship is gone, they're
gone.
Right. They're stuck there. And so Shin also leaves and runs away as well. And this sort of sets up the idea that we're going to be heading back to the regular galaxy in the next episode, which is the finale. Do you think this is going to end on Peridia, or do you think it's going to be, do you think that all of our characters will get back to,
here's what I think is going to happen. They're going to load up the ship. They're going to try to stop him at the last minute, but Thrawn's going to be like, no, I'm out, bitches. Just giving the finger while he warps out. And while they're stuck there, he's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Oh, I know. I'll call, and Lairs are going to be like, I'll call the Purrgil to help us. They're going to go back on the Purrgil to go back to the home galaxy. Thrawn's going to come back, and then he's going to basically rally the rest of the Moffs and admirals, and then thus starts the First Order.
Yeah. Somebody says a cliffhanger of them stuck on Peridia. I don't know if they're going to do that or not.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did that, because there is a rumor that they're going to have another movie that's going to explain some stuff. So who knows? Oh, well, maybe. I don't know. Overall, though, I think this episode was one of the weaker episodes of the season. It was good. I liked it, but it wasn't as good as some of the others.
Yeah. So I'm going to give this one like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah, same. About a 6.
It's just above mid to me.
Yeah.
And it sucks because we've had like 3 strong episodes in a row. Yeah. So this one really was kind of a.
Yeah, it's kind of like the only parts I really liked was with Thrawn, where he finds out, he's like, who's Ahsoka's master? And he looks through, he's like, you serious? Him?
Yeah.
Especially if you read the Thrawn books, which I haven't, but I've read a lot of cliff notes for the Thrawn books. Him and Anakin they worked together very closely on a lot of missions together. And especially once, after Order 66 and all that, he then worked with Vader. And he pieced together that Vader and Anakin are the same person. He wasn't 100% sure. He was like 90-something% sure that they're the same person.
Feather Guardian said 5 out of 10, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
James says 8 out of 10. Okay, I mean, I'm not going to knock anybody for whatever.
With your opinion is just. I get it.
Yeah. Guys, leave your score for this episode in the chat. We're going to move over to Gen V in just a second. Hero's Journey says 7 out of 10. Dark Bat says 8 out of 10. You guys are being super generous. Look, I'm not giving it a 6 because I think it was an awful.
Yeah, it wasn't awful. It was still beautiful. Gorgeous episode. It was just, especially after off the strength of coming off the other episodes, and then it's like stuff is still left hanging. Once everything's out, it may change. So I totally. If some people say anywhere between like 9 to like 6 or 5, I totally understand. If someone like Cyber Ninja says it's like, oh, this is like a 2 out of 10, this episode's bullshit. I'm like, oh, bro, come on. That's not that bad.
No, it's not that
That's
bad.
best what you're saying.
9.5 out of 10. You really liked it.
Fair enough.
Lightning Bolt. Marlon here with the 6.5. Yeah. All right. So we're going to move over now and talk about another show. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Gen V.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Yeah. Thank you, Organized Chaos. Look, 24 likes with 66 people watching. We can do better.
Be sure to like, favorite, and subscribe.
All right, so we got Gen V this week, the first 3 episodes, and I had to take a break in between each one because
it's a lot.
It's a lot. So I'm going to give you a big trigger warning for this one. These episodes have some heavy subject matter in them. They actually, and this was wild, they put warnings at the beginning of the first episode. Because we get into like, self-harm and stuff like that. So definitely just be aware of that as we get into this. All right. So if you're not familiar with The Boys, Gen V is a spinoff of the series, the hit series, The Boys, from Prime, Amazon Prime, which is known for being extremely unfiltered. And I love The Boys. It is a bit gratuitous for me, but I know a lot of people
right
love
up
that.
my alley. So.
Right. Some people love that, so it's good to go. So coming into this, what I assumed this was going to be like an X-Mansion school, but in the boys' world. And that's essentially what, there's no real Professor X, but that's essentially what it is. It's a college. It's like a little dash of Harry Potter in it because it's got different houses and things like that.
What was the name? Brickman or
which one are we talking about?
The headmaster,
the dean or whatever. Brinks. I think it was Brinks.
Yeah, it was Brinks. I forget his full name. Who was also that guy is everywhere. All I heard was Mr. Krabs. He's Mr. Krabs. He was also in Ahsoka for like a good 2 episodes, maybe like the first 2 episodes. And he plays a bunch of other voices and everything else. So yeah, dude's everywhere. I think it's Clancy. I want to say Clancy Brown.
What, the actor?
The actor. Yeah, Clancy Brown. Yeah, he's in everything.
I'm pretty sure that's
the voice of Mr. Krabs.
Yeah. Anyway, so this series, I'm sitting here. Let me close the window. This series, I expected it to be like very graphic, and boy, was it graphic.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about some of the characters and their powers. So we got Marie, who, as you can see, is right here behind me, who is a bloodmancer. I don't know what you would call it.
Yeah, she has powers like Scarlet from Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah,
it's just when just what the intro, her like intro scene, like the first scene of the series, where she has like some stomach issues or whatever, but apparently it was like we come to find out it was period cramps. So she goes to the bathroom. I'm like, okay, are we about to see this little girl take a dump? What the hell?
No, let me tell you. We were watching it. We were actually eating.
Right? Oh my God, that's your first mistake.
No. Listen. And when she went into the bathroom and complained about stomach cramps, we paused it and I was like, we'll come back to this after we eat. Let's eat first and then we'll come back to this. Because we knew some shit was about to go down.
I'm sitting there going, she basically she takes some drawers off and starts sitting on each other. It's like, I am not trying to watch no 13-year-old take a dump. This is gross. Then she kind of reaches down and sees like she has. I was like, oh, she's having her first period. Then she starts to manipulate. I'm like, oh, yeah, she can control her blood. Interesting.
Yeah.
Then her mom comes in, wonders, hey, is everything all right?
No, it's not okay. Everything is not okay. She sees her like controlling the blood. Next thing you know, blood dagger right through her mom's neck.
Yeah, she's like freaking out. Her mom breaks in. She's like, "Are you okay?" She just blood spike just comes in, gets her right in the neck, and she just starts bleeding out. I'm like, oh, right. This is like the first episode of The Boys when A-Train just runs through Huey's girlfriend.
Well, but then it gets worse because then her dad comes in and we get exploding blood effect.
Yeah, she freaks out even more.
And I was like, all right, this is what the show's going to be. We're going to have this just gratuitous, crazy shit happening, and we just have to be prepared for it. So that's our introduction to Marie, which, by the way, great character throughout the 3 episodes. I really enjoy her story arc. And the one thing about the boys in the world of the boys is no one is good.
No,
everyone
these are just
is
regular people with way too much power.
Right. I would say that the boys, the one thing the boys does that I do appreciate is that people react like real people, like they take advantage of situations. And we'll get more on that in a second. But then she decides to go off to the school, which is Godolkin University. God U for short, which, by the way, fucking brilliant like name on that. But you get Godolkin, and so there's 2 main branches there. You've got the arts and entertainment school, and you have the crime division. And Marie wanted to be in the crime division because she's not down for like acting and making movies and being on TV shows.
But of course, it's kind of like how modern corporate America is now. It's like, no, we don't want your kind into crime fighting. No, you'll do better. You'll do better on acting and stuff. Be a superstar. Yeah.
Keep in mind that this is all because Vought only wants you to do 2 things. They want you to act, and they want you to use your powers for them. That's it. That's the only 2 things they want you to do. And so you have this school situation where you meet a couple of interesting characters. The first 2 that we really sort of get to meet, I guess I'm looking here, would be Kate and Golden Boy. I think that was
that was his. I forget his actual name. But
Luke. I think it's Luke, right? Yeah, Kate and Luke. Now, these 2 characters that we see, like their power. I could be out of order. We're going to go through everybody though. So Golden Boy. Well, first of all, I want to say that every super in the Vought world automatically comes with like extra strength, extra durability.
It's kind of like a standard.
Everybody has that. So like they're going to be stronger than an average person. That's kind of a standard one. But then the power levels sort of jump from there.
Scale from there,
yeah. So Golden Boy is essentially like the Human Torch with a touch of super soldier powers in him, which is an interesting take. And just like with anything, when he uses his powers, his clothes burn up. So he's always running around
just
like
naked.
Yeah, pretty much. And so they want him to be the next Homelander. They want him to be the next lead in the 7. He's a pretty white guy. And so they like, we want him to be the one in charge, and he does well on social media. He's got a lot of followers. Everybody seems to love him.
Everything's all these stupid metrics based things. It's like being that he was tagged to be going all the way up to the top, they're going to just pretty much roll out the carpet for him. Even if he does something completely effed up, they're still going to cover for him.
And we'll see. We'll talk about that.
We'll get to that
does happen. But I do want to say it was good to know that they set him out to be like the what is that?
No, apparently he's Arnold Schwarzenegger's son.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting.
Cool.
So they try to set him up as being like this douchebag guy, but he's not. He's sort of actually a broken individual. He's like a nice guy, but he's sort of broken.
It's kind of like they kind of put. I've seen this a lot with a lot of other kids. When just remembering being young, how it was like, oh, he's going to be this and this, and they just totally cave to the pressures. Like, and you think they're just sniveling like snooty people, but they're actually really cool once you get to know them.
Yeah,
and that's kind of how he is. Everyone thinks he's like the star jock and everything. It's like, no, he's actually cool. He's just being pressured into all of this stuff.
Right, but based on the way they were setting him up, I can see why they wanted to be the next Homelander. Like, I get it. It makes sense from that perspective.
Yeah, he's brown hair, blue eyed, white kid with visually pleasing aesthetics with his superpowers. So yes, this is who we want front and center. And
then you have his girlfriend, Kate, who when she was wearing gloves, I was like, okay, her powers are going to be something like, I don't know what she can do. She can morph people or something with her. Like, I kept thinking Rogue, because, Rogue touches people and gets their powers. I was like, maybe that's like, she does that or whatever. But it ends up, she's got one of the most insidious powers. And we saw this with the Purple Man in Jessica Jones or whatever. When she touches someone, she can command for them to do something.
And they will follow it, no question.
Yes. And I thought this was and I thought for a second, I'm like, so why is she not using this on everybody? And we find out later on why she can't use it on everybody. But that power alone is just such an insidious power.
Yeah.
It's not a hero's power. That's a villain's power. It always has been associated with villains.
It's like if Purple Man wasn't such a pervert, he could literally control the world.
Yeah, because his was not as limited as hers. So that was always quite interesting. She doesn't get a lot of character development in the first three episodes. She we get a couple of moments with her when we get to because we're not going to do this episode by episode. We're going to talk about everything sort of generally in these first 3 episodes. But we do have a small arc with her. It's not a big one. We'll get there in a second. I'm just going to go through the characters. And then we have Andre, who is I thought he had telekinesis at first because he was lifting things, but it seems like he can actually rearrange the molecular structure.
Yeah, I'm not sure what his powers are. They're weird. Now, first I thought this was Stan Edgar's son, but I was like, no, if Stan Edgar had a kid, he wouldn't be in this BS. So he'd probably be far away from this stuff, even if he did have powers. So
I'm not sure because he was also the drug dealer of the group, and I thought, well, if he can change things molecularly, that would explain why he can he has all the party pills and stuff like that because it makes sense. But I like his character. I like him. I think he's a good character. And we get to learn a lot about him. He's the quirky guy coming up with code names for people because he tries to call her Coagula and Bloody Mary. She doesn't like her Bloody Marie. She doesn't like any of those. But I like his personality. He's a fun kid. His dad was also a super.
It's a total hard ass. Once again, like another one of those like overbearing parent, like those not tiger parents, but kind of just one of those overbearing parents. Like, you do what I say. Do not mess this up for me. This is about me, not you. That whole thing. Do not embarrass me.
So we had that with him, and he becomes one of the better. Like we talk about characters being good people in the world of the boys. He's probably the closest to what you would consider a good person, except for the dealing drugs.
Everyone's morally gray.
There's got to be something in there that's always off a little bit by him. But I really enjoyed it, and I think his powers are quite interesting. We also have another character, Emma, who is like Cricket. Is it Little Cricket? Is that her code name?
I want to say that's what it was.
Tiny Cricket.
Remember. Something.
It's her YouTube channel. She has a YouTube channel.
I felt so bad with her because when she was just going through all of her comments, it was like, "You're bad, you're ugly. I thought the hamster were cute. Kill yourself." Kind of like YouTube comments.
Yeah, no, it really was. They actually pulled that off. When I saw everything she was dealing with, I was like, "This is real." Whoever did this did their research because that is absolutely what happened.
Yeah, I felt so bad for her. I was like, "Oh my god."
So, but she's got a YouTube channel where she creates these little scenes with her as a tiny person, like
not like a dwarf or a short person, but no, she's like this tall.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Her powers are fucked up. They're really fucked up. She can shrink. However, she can only do it when she vomits.
Yeah, she has to vomit and then she gets smaller and smaller.
So in order for her to shrink down, she has to purge. And in order for her to get bigger again, she has to binge. So it's a really pretty messed up power. But it's akin to mutants, though, because mutants, a lot of them have powers that come at the expense of something else.
Yeah, something else. And some people just have like the Cyclops power. He cannot. Well, actually, he has a sort of brain damage where he can't control his laser beams. Rogue, she literally can't touch anyone unless she drains their powers. Beast is a giant blue man. Nightcrawler is blue, has a tail, and looks like a demon.
Yeah. But this is kind of part of the course for the boys, because the boys, again, the show deals with like the bad side of being, a superhero. So all right, let's move on with the next character we want to talk about, which is where I've got the list here. So we have Jordan and London, I believe, are the two characters' names. The bi-gender character.
The person who could change their gender whenever.
Okay.
Apparently they're also super strong and super durable because they were going straight up toe to toe with
okay, so I have a theory about that. Again, I haven't read anything about the backstories on these characters, so I could be right or wrong about this. But I get the impression that when Jordan hold on, let me get this right. London is the female, Jordan is the male version. I think that's how they did it. They split it up over that way. Okay, so Jordan, I think, is extremely durable and extremely strong and can fight. Like, I think that's what Jordan's powers are.
Yeah.
But when Jordan shifts into the female form, London, she has like force field powers. Like she can like project energy or something.
Yeah, both of them have like two like different powers.
Right. So not only are they separate genders, but their powers are different too. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chad, but I believe that's how it is. Like I think she could use something else, and he was just a fighter.
Just super strong.
Right. So whenever he was fighting hand to hand with
because she was female at first, but then I forgot who was attacked him. I think we'll get into that. When she gets attacked, she's transformed into the other guy, and then he just kind of just went toe to toe with him.
Right. So I think there's two different powers depending on what gender is being represented. So that's a really interesting character. And actually the storyline for that character is cool because they come from a home where the father they're the ones who had the tiger parents who were just overbearing and being I suppose they were originally born male. Yes.
Then they could change from either one.
In puberty, when their powers came about, they were able to shift.
And the father was kind of disappointed. It's like, you're my firstborn son. It's like, no, I can change whatever.
You're the one that put them on V. You're the one that
exactly.
gave V to your kids. So what if they would have turned into an elephant? They would have been able to like
so awful. Even what's her name? Cricket's her parents.
Yeah, her mother.
Her mom's. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I hate all of them.
Yeah. But I mean, like you're the ones giving your kids this chemical that could give them any power under the sun, and you get mad if the power isn't the one you want.
Yeah, it may have a giant power that gives them an extremely long penis.
Right. Which is
a power. Which is someone who's in there. You actually see the head like poking through the window earlier.
Yeah, no, it is. So it's one of those things where you're dealing with this situation, and people talk about when we're talking about gender identity and stuff in TV shows. This is probably, in my opinion, one of the most interesting ways to approach it because it is a superpower, meaning that it is completely, it's relatable, but it's also something that doesn't exist.
They were
in
even
the world.
They were even saying like, I'll never be part of the Seven thing because Texas, because like the South and like Texas,
I think it said Florida and Texas or something.
Yeah, Florida and Texas won't accept a bigender character, bigender person.
Right. Even though, if you think about it, they went toe to toe with the Homelander equivalent.
Yeah, which is Teen Homelander.
Right. Which is why what Marie chooses to do, we're going to talk about that in a second. What Marie chooses to do in an interview about what happened with Golden Boy is pretty messed up. But it's not something
it's not her fault.
So, right. Okay, so I think that's all the main characters.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're kids in college. They go out, they party, and things happen. And we have this situation where Andre is trying to pick up a girl. He's kind of showing off in front of her with his powers, and ends up almost killing somebody in the process while they're out doing drugs. And Marie has to save the woman that gets hurt in all this. And so she's caught on camera, and this looks good for Marie, but bad for the other kids because they would have to take responsibility for what they
Golden
did.
Boy, the
Andre, Kate, and I think that was it. That was just
it was I think
was Jordan there?
Yeah, Jordan Lennon was there too.
Okay. So anyway, this doesn't look good to Brinks, who is the deacon, the dean, whatever he is of the school. Headmaster, yeah. And so, of course, Marie thinks that she's going to get something good out of this because
he even says like, "Hey, you did good, kid. That was a good thing you did. We're going to have to expel you."
Right.
It was like, why? What did I do? It's like, you see, Golden Boy, he's going up to the top. He's going to be part of the Seven. We can't have this on his record, but someone needs to take the blame for it.
He's like, you can go and help your friends in your neighborhood. Like that was like, what? Like he essentially was like, you're a superhero that just needs to be in one little city or whatever.
And she was like, I can't go back. I have no parents. I killed. Like, he was like,
and we find out she's looking for a sister because her sister and her are estranged, so they're not even talking anymore.
She's like, no, I killed my parents. I was in an orphanage. I can't go back. If they do, they're going to put me in an adult, in some adult facility for the for suits. It was like,
And I think this is a good time to bring this comment up. It says, Naruto with the $5 super chat. Honestly, watching Gen V makes me so happy I'm no longer a teenager or college student.
Because I was 19, 20 I was 19 in 2020 and 2001. Yes, I'm old. Leave me alone. So I'm so glad we didn't have like social media to this extent that we have it now back then. I mean, it was by the time when we were younger, it was just coming out. Like we had like MySpace,
in the world we live in now, there's like a 90% chance if you do something stupid, somebody is going to film you doing it.
Oh yeah, like that guy who just got shot for doing a stupid prank who deserved it.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, in the mall. I think it was in the mall. Don't follow Uber Eats people and try to prank them. It's not funny. They're trying to do their job. Just a little shout out. Thank you for the super chat. But yeah, I don't know how I would have existed. And shout out to all the people in college now. I don't know how I would have existed in college with.
I mean, because even the way they portrayed it, I mean, it was a bit over. It was a bit overstated, but it wasn't that. It was the word I'm looking for. It's a bit hyperbolized, but not by much.
Yeah. Defunct says she was the least marketable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, she wasn't marketable as Soldier Boy, so now she's going to take the fall.
I mean, her powers are gross, and that's the thing. Is people,
control blood. Ew.
But we talk about this. This is why when you give your kids this V thing, you have no idea what their powers are going to be. Anyway, so that happens and she gets expelled, but we don't know at this time where all this is going on that there is a secret facility under the school called the Woods.
Oh, the Woods. That's right, the Woods. And
we see this person running. A guy running, turning over cars, extremely powerful, by the way. Like this guy is when I saw this happening, I'm like, who is this person and why are they flipping cars like they're like tin cans? Like this is like bad. Anyway, so Marie and Andre end up stopping him because they believe that I think the school said he's on meth or something. It was really weird, but they end up stopping him and they don't think much about it. But then we have this facility going on underground. That we find out later on is a bigger deal. Golden Boy, though, has a moment where he's starting to, you see the cracks happening. And he goes into the headmaster's office. Jordan is leaving, going down the hallway. Marie is coming back because she's like, I'm not going to just like leave.
Yeah, just take this. Yeah, I'm not going to take this thing. Yeah, just sit down.
And he completely burns up the.
Yeah, he just grabs him while he's on fire.
Yeah. And Marie catches him doing it.
At first, he was like, I didn't see shit. I'm out. And he's like, no.
I could see the gears turning in his head because I'm like, he's not going to let her walk away with that. And in true Homelander fashion, he chases her down. And this is when we get the battle with Jordan London and Golden Boy, where she does he and she do a good job of like, holding him off. But then he gets outside, all the kids are around, he's on fire, they know something has happened. We see Andre and Marie there trying to talk him down. And so this whole situation is messed up. But a character that we thought was going to be a main character.
Here's what I thought was going to happen. I thought that, okay, this dude was going to be, he's not, for some reason, he's not going to get into the 7. And the reason why he's not going to get into the 7 is that he's going to be usurped by Homelander's son. Homelander's son's going to end up taking over, taking his spot in the 7. He's going to be like, nah, this is bullshit. Nah, I'm supposed to be taking that spot. But no, that's not what happens at all.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise.
I was way off.
He flies up and pulls a Human Torch, like mass corona incineration thing or whatever, where he just basically burns himself up and explodes.
Yeah, he just explodes himself.
Which was shocking. But we also find out that guy who was running away is his brother. And he's locked up in this place called the Woods, which is where we were getting these images, which, by the way, super strong, super fast, also maybe telepathic powers as well. Like, I feel like, because where was it?
Yeah, because it was like somebody. Yeah, he was getting vision. I think because later on he even says like, yeah, you gave me this serum, made me all super strong. But you also gave me a fucked up brain. Started hitting himself. So it's like,
so maybe they were also connected because they're siblings. Maybe they were connected telepathically.
Yeah.
So he's in this facility, which is basically a holding cell for supers that they can't control.
Yeah, even they had Angela from the Main Boy series from Vought HQ. She was like, she even like said like, "Hey, take me off the speaker. Does this have anything to do with the woods?" And she was like, "We not sure yet." It's like, yeah, whatever. Well, there's something they doing something they ain't supposed to, and even Vought HQ is like, y'all better be damn sure this.
Well, we also know on the main Boys series they had the facility where they were holding supers like Lamplighter and stuff that were considered to be dangerous.
Yeah,
but
that's those what held May for a bit too.
But this is a separate thing. This is under a school, so these are all college age students
around
that are
17
down there
at the youngest, maybe 21 at the oldest, maybe.
Yeah,
so still like barely adults,
right? So, and it looks like they're trying to figure out how to weaponize them a little bit because they're experimenting on them as well, which doesn't really surprise me because that seems right up Vaught's alley to do something like that. So that was quite interesting.
Yeah, they had a laser baby in like the first season of The Boys.
Yeah.
Which fun fact, because when we went to DragonCon 2018, 19, Carl Urban basically said, that was actually a real baby he was holding. He's like, the parents was just off camera. He was like, hey, don't worry, I have kids of my own. That was actually a real baby he was holding like that. So anyway, go ahead.
No, I was double checking. Somebody was asking if these characters are from the comics or they original. I think a lot of them are original characters. I think they're original characters. I don't know. I'd have to double check. We'll double check before next week. I'll try and see if we can find a graph where we can talk about them. But anyway, so now Sam meets because what is it, Kate? Oh, we talk about Kate here. So Kate and Andre are investigating this whole situation, and they find that the facility's underground, and Kate tries to control more than one person, and you can see that kind of messes her up. Yeah, she can't do that. So that would explain why she can only do like one person at a time, because if she does more than one person, it puts a strain on her. But they want to get into this facility, and they also want to, make sure that they're safe about it, because if not, they're going to get locked up and put away, because they have these devices that like block powers, it seems like, or prevents them from being able to use their
they had the
abilities.
Tape, and then they've had the gas that it was probably the same gas that they were giving Soldier Boy to keep him.
That's what I'm thinking. So we also have the stuff with Marie going on camera to take credit for stopping Golden Boy.
Yeah, even though it was London who did all of that.
Yes. And London tells her, like,
at least tell them,
at
least tell them that I had a hand in it or something. But she didn't go off script. So he's like, look, I'm keeping my head down. I am not going to that adult care facility where they're just going to lock me in a room. I'm not doing that. And
the funny thing was, I didn't see the allegory to it until they said it in the production room, when she's like, this is either going to go off the rails, or she's going to be the Black Starlight. And she went with the Black Starlight. That's basically what she did. She just fell in line with everything, and
which I don't blame her not one bit. Being threatened with that, being threatened with toe the line and lose yourself, or be locked up.
I always wonder when I ask people this, because a lot of times I think with heroes, you want to believe that heroes would always take the high road. But the one thing about the Boys is they exist in a real, like, the Boys is literally like our world. If heroes were in our world, how would they react in our world with social media and things like that? So it's like, would you toe the line or would you not toe the line? And it really is a question that comes out to each individual person.
It's like, sometimes you think you're invincible, have all these superpowers, but no, you're not the first one they dealt with. They will get, even if they can't just shoot you, they will try some way to sedate you and then just lock you away. You're not the first person to do this.
The person interviewing her had the nerve to bring up her sister, and her sister didn't want to have anything to do with her. And I think that changed a lot of her perspective.
Yeah, she was all like, oh yeah, we have emails from your sister. And she's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Even though that may have been bullshit.
Yeah. And so, because I don't know if that's true or not. I was like, they could be lying to her about that. They don't know, So anyway, all that's going on. So she's already sort of at odds with Jordan and London, and so she's, there's an issue there. But while this is happening and all this stuff, because things are, I don't know chronologically how things lined up. I know some of them were a little bit weird. They did flashbacks throughout the episode.
Linear.
But Cricket Emma went into the facility, into the woods, to save Sam. And you can tell how being confined in there sort of messed with them.
Yeah, because what's the guy's name again? The guy who couldn't manipulate matter and whatnot.
Andre.
Andre, yeah, I keep forgetting his name. Yeah, Andre, his dad, he's all like, "Where'd you go? Like, what are you doing? Like, don't fuck this up for me." And he's like, "Nah, he said, look, I'm just trying to be a hero. I want to help people." So he's basically kind of just tells his dad what they're trying to do. He's like, who else knows about the woods? No one, just me. Even though he did tell 3 other people what's going on. So he's like, shut up about this. Don't say anything else. And I think he went into what's his name's office to see if, like, what was going on, because he noticed something was up. So that's the word. So yeah, he knows what's up. So he kind of had like not pulls the alarm, but like lets them know that someone's probably trying to free Golden Boy's brother.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when the alarms go off, and because during this point, Golden Boy's brother was talking to Emma.
Yeah.
Because he thought he was hallucinating at first, but no, they start talking. Then once the alarm goes off, he puts her on a bookshelf. They shock the floor. He goes down. The guard's looking for him.
Okay. We could talk about what happens here because it gets really gross here. So Emma crawls through the guy's brain with a earbud, like pushing it through his brain.
Yeah, she just goes to his ear, just pushes out the other side. Yeah. She's just dead on the floor.
And that's kind of where we're left at with the episode.
We're just left right there.
Left there, like with that. That's the situation we're in. We're going to talk a little bit about Emma's story because there's some funny moments from that before we wrap this up, and we have a couple super chats. But I want to say that I really enjoyed these first 3 episodes. I think they were really strong. I think the special effects aren't perfect.
No.
But they're okay. They could be better.
They're fine.
But they're not at the level of like the Boys show. Yeah. They're there, but they're not at the level of like the main show. And that's okay with me. So I'm going to give a score to all 3 episodes, and I'm going to say it's like an 8 out of 10 for me for the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, first 3, averaged out to about maybe 8.5, maybe.
Yeah, I would say it's pretty
because I really like the Boys series, but it started off pretty strong, so it's love to see more.
Let's answer a couple super chats and then we're going to talk here. So Naruto says, Omega, I feel you. I graduated high school in 2006.
2006. I graduated 2000.
Oh.
I'm old.
Yeah.
And you graduated what, like before?
Let's not even talk about when I graduated. Let's not even talk 90s, about that.
Late 90s.
It was early 90s. Early 90s. Early.
1800s.
Don't give me any credit. I'm really old. So
late
Naruto here found out Golden Boy is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, we found that out as well. Which honestly, I don't know. Let me see if I can find a picture of him. So I mean, yeah, he does look a little bit like him. A little bit.
Now that I'm thinking about it, it's like, I couldn't place it, but he did look a tad familiar. I just couldn't place it.
Yeah. Yes, I'm very old. I don't want to. Let's not talk about it.
The late 1900s.
Yeah, exactly. I was born in the late 1900s. Wish I was born in the late 90s. I'm not a millennial kid. Okay, so before we move on, we have a couple. Okay, I'm going to highlight a couple comments here that we'll answer before we wrap things up. Also, if you have any super chats you want to donate to the stream or whatever, this will be your last chance to do so before we get to the end. Let's talk about a couple of the scenes in this that were quite shocking outside of the stuff we've talked about. So Emma riding a giant, well, not giant, she was tiny. She was having a relationship with somebody or a hookup with somebody who wanted her to shrink. This is a fetish, by the way.
Yeah.
Wanted her to shrink down and get on his
she was just holding
on his junk. On his junk. Let's use junk there. And we got so many shots of it. Like, I don't know who, like the visual department was loving that moment. They were like, we're going to give you every angle we could possibly give you of this. And I was like, what?
He was just laying back like, oh yeah, that's so good. Stomp on my balls. She just stomps around it.
I was like, oh my gosh. Oh no.
This is stupid.
It's too much. Also,
it's kind of like how Termite was who can actually shrink in on his on his own. His power is like much more refined than hers.
Yeah,
I was like the first episode of the 3rd season where he just goes inside the other guy's junk and just kind of until he sneezes.
They had to create that. That was like a physical set.
Yeah, that was actual set. They were tweeting it out. It's like, yeah, this is an actual set.
It's too much. But the one thing I do want to cover before we answer these last couple questions here is
Jumanji would never hit the same for me.
Yeah, I actually suspect we'll see that throughout the series. Like,
it's gonna be a running joke.
So, that girl that met her, I don't remember her name, the one that pretended to be her friend in the acting class, and then went online and told everybody about her.
Yeah,
that was messed up. That was really, really messed up. That like. I thought, okay, this is.
But you know what? Yes, bitch, it was.
But you know what? That's how I feel like that's the world. I feel like that's reality, honestly. So,
is that how many? It's like, how many viewers can I get off of this?
Yeah, pretty much. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up here.
It was a lot of episodes. So, it was a lot to cover.
Hero's Journey says, so will next week's after party be Ahsoka, Loki, or both? Next week's going to be supersized, because it's going to be Ahsoka's finale, Loki's premiere, and the next episode of The Boys.
Yep.
So also, you do not want to miss next week's episode.
We're throwing Castlevania on that too.
Is the new season out?
Oh, yeah, it's out already. I didn't know it was out either.
Okay, well, we might talk about that. But yeah, that'll be next week's after party. And we'll probably do it in the order of Ahsoka finale first, Loki premiere second, and then we'll leave Boys for the end because I know it's an acquired
you don't
taste,
want to put that at the beginning.
Yeah. Darth Zin says, curious if you guys have any thoughts on James Gunn outright said Aquaman 2 does not matter. I mean, that's what everyone assumed, I guess, but it takes out the hype even more. I think the writing's on the wall.
Wrong. Yeah, I don't think he's wrong, but
I mean, let's be honest here.
Movie is, which I don't think is going to be amazing.
Yeah,
it's going to be fine. It's not going to be like, oh my god, best movie ever.
Yeah, I think that the issue is that the writing's on the wall. They know that these movies are not. The chance of Aquaman performing well now is almost. Look, the trailer did not really trend. They dropped the trailer and people forgot about it within 2 days. Nobody was talking about that trailer. So the writing is kind of on the wall for Aquaman. So we'll have a year with. I think next year we have the Joker movie. I think that one comes out next year. And that's pretty much it. Yeah. So I don't have too much thoughts about it other than it just kind of makes sense to me that they would say that. Feather says, I have a question. Marie's parents are responsible for powers. What about her sister? Something doesn't add up. My theory is that Marie could be adopted. I mean, she could be. It's quite possible.
Yeah,
her sister could also have powers too. We don't know.
Yeah,
we don't know a lot about her sister.
Or they may just gave it to one kid and just kind of see how it worked out. So
because she was younger, which means that she hadn't hit puberty yet, which means her powers probably hadn't manifested. Because we know in the boys' world, powers have a weird time of when they come out, but
usually around puberty.
Yeah. So Robert says Loki. I'm excited for that too. I think
Loki's one of my favorite Marvel shows right about because it's the only one that actually held weight against the movies. The rest of the other shows really weren't. You could take or leave them, and it'd be fine. But Loki was actually very important to the MCU.
Yeah. Naruto here says with the $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Naruto. Emma felt like Rumor from the Umbrella Academy.
My mom's been telling me I need to watch Umbrella Academy, but I haven't yet.
It's done. Like you can watch the
whole thing is out.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff I need to watch. Well, my last day at work is the 5th, so I got plenty of time.
Yeah, I think they like you could watch it now and get caught up with everything. There's like 4 seasons.
I might just go ahead and get that a watch.
Yeah, so go ahead and give it a shot. Yeah, it's very true.
Oh yeah, Diabolical does show the dark side of the V. Diabolical, which is another good series people should watch. That's some episodes are actually more true to the comic than it is to the show, which I thought was cool. Yeah.
So Staggerforth 49 super chat. Did y'all hear about Marvel's plans for the MCU? Yeah, I mean we talked about it a little bit at the beginning.
A little bit. I honestly didn't. I gotta look into those a bit more because
I love really
the X-Men. I love the X-Men comics. I should say, not those shitty movies from the 90s, but
yeah. I will say this: that right now in the climate we're in, it's really hard to discern what is a rumor and what is bullshit and what is real. Because some things are rumors that have a little bit of facts in it. Some of it's complete bullshit, and then you have the real stuff that they've released. So we'll have to look into it. But I did hear they're going to be talking about like scripts and stuff this week. So by next week, we might actually have some solid information about it. I don't know if we'll have time to cover it in the after party because we have 3 different shows to talk about next week. So we'll see where we go from that. Creature Commandos and Waller, but I was talking about movies, not shows. We only have 1 real movie next year, as far as I know. The stuff about the scripts, yes, I know that's not a rumor. We talked about that earlier. Were you guys not here? It was like the first thing we talked about.
Yeah, maybe it came in late.
All right. Last one here, then we're gonna wrap it up. Eric, why are they releasing Aquaman 2, The Flash, and Beetle, Shazam 2, but not Batgirl? Why? Because they thought that Flash was going to be a big hit and it was going to retcon stuff that happened in Batgirl. So they didn't want to put out Batgirl because they decided they didn't want to basically.
This is a shame because I heard people were saying that it was actually a decent movie.
Well, the thing about it is, I think that Batgirl was confirming that Michael Keaton's Batman was going to continue on. But then in the Flash movie, they retconned that. So it wouldn't have made sense for those two things to exist. Now, you could argue why they picked one over the other, but Batgirl was a movie that cost them like $100 million. Flash was like a $300-400 million investment for them. So they went with the one that they thought they were going to get the most money off of. And it wasn't Batgirl, which sucks. I don't think they should have gotten rid of it anyway, but that's just my thoughts and opinions on that. And I know a lot of people feel the same way.
Yeah, it's the studio's decision on that.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Thank you, Omega, for being here. It's a lot of fun. Gen V.
Glad to be here.
If you haven't watched it, you can watch it on Prime right now, the first 3 episodes. Ahsoka, we have 1 week left. Hopefully the finale is worth it. And then we'll be talking about Loki season 2 next week and whether or not it lives up to season 1. Anyway, that's pretty much it. You guys, thank you so much. And we will see you next Saturday. Take care. Bye.